Hey, everyone. I guess we're live. Is this live? I guess so. I'm really. Do I hear? I hear
It's
more
counting.
sound. I hear someone's mic.
Is somebody in the bathtub?
Now, if you hear the trickling water, that's my fish tank.
Oh, that's your.
But I don't know if you can see that big beast of a fish tank back there.
How many gallons is that, Sam?
I don't do gallons, Andy.
Oh, stupid Americans and stupid words. How many liters is it?
I can tell you it is, I believe, 120 liters.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, see, you got your fan. You got a fan right there. Missed that face. Well, so I just
Missed
assume that
you
Sam's
too.
been having somewhat normal sleep patterns when you're not here, which is congratulations, sir, on that too, by the way.
Thank you.
I too have discovered normal sleep patterns, and so I went to bed around 11, got up around 6:30 or so, which is not considered sleep. Hey, more fans, Sam! Wow,
Oh, D.
we got to start like putting your face on swag, Sam. That's what we need.
This is why I usually get shy and just
Oh,
this.
oh, there you go.
They've embarrassed me now.
I use my icon because I usually look like I rolled off a mountain.
Oh, wow,
So that's my excuse.
that's good of you.
Do
I still,
zebras?
I still hear someone has a show on in the background. Unless it's like this. Whenever I think about I might be going like having a psychotic break, I start getting somewhat. Oh, it's over. That was you, Sam.
So it's my fish tank trickling,
Is
I
it?
imagine.
Okay, all right, maybe. All right, there's always a chance I can start, falling into a
I'll move though if that's
Yeah, can you move the fish outside?
It's one of those fancy lobe-finned fish, the lungfish. So how's everyone else doing? I got so caught up with the fish. What's up, Telvin? How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm hanging in there. I'm ready to play around and make some progress this morning
Excellent.
or today.
I think you and Cold Iron
Is that
are.
better?
Yes, that's a lot better, actually.
It was the bloody fish tank. Okay.
Wow. How weird is
Lesson learned. I won't be able to stream.
that? I'm not going to lie to you.
I'll turn the fish. I'll turn it off.
Don't kill
Bugger
the
the
fish.
fish.
Don't kill the fish.
It's just the filter thing that goes constantly anyway. I'm sure they'll be fine without the thing for half an hour
What
or
I
so.
really find disturbing is that it sounded like voices to me. Maybe that was just my brain trying to interpret the sense data. I don't know.
Pareidolia.
I interpreted it actually till I figured out it was the fish tank because I had earphones in about 10 minutes before coming on stream, and I thought it was a radio,
Okay, they
and
are.
I could hear a voice in it, and I just went, that's just semi stuff, just ignore that, move on. But then you said the same thing, so I found that quite.
Sam, that's how I treat many of my symptoms too. Just ignore it and move on.
Maybe it was the CIA, you know.
Oh yeah, right. So Cold Iron and Tobin in the dark are the Sith Lords this morning, enshrouded in the dark side. Good morning,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
It happens. My light switch is over there, so I can't
Just
switch it right now.
a floating face.
Yeah.
I feel like
Am I gonna
I feel
pull a critical cripple? I'm Dave.
oh right, just have your floating head, right.
I wanted to ask Andy, how are you weather-wise? Because I saw a brief report that eastern U.S. was getting slammed with cold Arctic weather.
It has been chilly last week. This weekend, I really didn't leave the house. I went out. Okay, so that's a lie. I went out. The girlfriend dragged me out. I can talk about her since she's not here, right? She dragged me out to go see a movie. We saw Edgar Wright's newest movie last night in Soho, which is a cute movie. It wasn't one of his best, but at least that's how I feel. She felt differently. She really liked the film. So Edgar Wright is the guy who did Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz.
Baby Driver.
Yeah, that he did. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So yeah, those are the movies he's done. And so yeah, we saw that on Saturday night. So yeah, really, I try to avoid going outside over the last couple of days because of the cold. Because then I get to be in here and do work and stuff, and work with horrible formatting on Only Sky. I've been wrestling with the formatting for a bit. You know, that's what content creating is like. You work either on the technical stuff for something for like hours and hours. You bang your head up against the wall, and then luckily with Only Sky though, I got to bump it to the technical people, so now they get to handle the problem. So I'm not unhappy about that.
I liked your McConnell article that you wrote on Newsy News.
Yes, yeah, I'm going to promote that later on. I'm going to put that on Facebook later on. Whenever you use the N word, the Nazi word, yeah, that's always kind of dicey about whether or not you're going to get a ban or a suspension for that. So I was playing around with where they're not calling it fascist or National Socialist. And then I said, I'm just going to go full Nazi. That's what I did, and that's why I threw it into the. So yeah.
But it isn't like the other N word, where only a Nazi can call another Nazi a Nazi.
Right. I mean, if you look at me, I actually have all of the people look at me and they say Republican, right? I mean, it's like, hey, Republican, maybe a fascist. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if anyone should be able to use that word, Nazi, that would be me, because I look like the person that could, that's in that group.
Well, my grandfather was, and I don't say this with pride, and he wasn't proud either, because he was only a child, but he was in the SS Youth.
Yeah, I mean, that's like Nazi by default, and I guess that's a real thing, because when you're basically, when they scrub the Boy Scouts and throw you into the Hitler Youth, I mean, that's yeah,
pretty.
Yeah, anyone else do anything exciting over the weekend? I mean,
oh man, I got to hang out with Jim Hall on Atheist Edge.
Yeah,
and I ended up hanging out with Old First and Kitty the Atheist. It was cool because afterwards, after the show was all over, we ended up sitting there and talking about politics, and like we're all on the same side.
good. That's good.
But we talked for hours. It was pretty good.
My family had gone up north for a holiday, and I had planned to stay back and work and have some time to myself, and that dad conscience just ate at me, and I felt bad for not going. So I decided on a whim to pack a bag and drive 400. I just looked it up, 466 miles to join my family in the beautiful Queensland.
Yeah. It
was a long drive. I think I was there 3 days.
Oh wow!
Drove back.
That's pretty cool.
But so I did that in 7 hours.
Oh really? Wow! That was a good clip.
It's literally, I live near the freeway, or Pacific Highway it's called, and that highway it's literally skirts the Pacific Ocean, so it goes from North Queensland down to Victoria, in Australia. So you jump on that and do 110 kilometers an hour the whole way, which is
I'm guessing 80 miles per hour, maybe?
70 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which is actually our top speed in Australia.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah. I think there may be 1 or 2 roads in Central Australia in our deserts that don't have a speed limit.
Right. That's where Mad Max lives and the whole, right, that whole...
And there's no speed limit because you want to go through there as fast as you can. You do, and don't stop.
Well, yeah. There seems to be a lot of nothing in that. It's like when you see a map of Saudi Arabia, there's this whole barren. I think that's what they actually call it, like the barren wasteland or something like that. This, like, even with like there's nothing, there's like super nothing there.
Yeah. Just from it's such an ancient land that there's no topsoil, except for the very outskirts.
Yeah.
And the rest is just old rock.
Well, we're going to be seeing a lot more of that because of climate change. A lot more of the topsoil. Yeah. And I mean, there are ways to fight it, of course. If governments do the right thing, then there are ways to lessen the damage and save topsoil. You having some issues over there, Cold Iron? I see you're wrestling with the can. You look very relaxed, though. You look very relaxed.
Yeah, I'm trying to hang out in my hammock, see how well this works. Got my laptop in my lap.
Is that actually a hammock?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. An indoor hammock.
Yeah, it's in my hammock room.
So many things we're learning about you today. So you have a room.
That is so good.
I mean, that's genius, to tell you the truth. So you have a specific room dedicated to your hammock.
All people have specific room dedicated to their beds.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, we have a lounge room, so I guess a hammock room is only the next step, isn't it?
That does sound nice.
Or a sitting room.
Right.
Would you? What's the act of being in a hammock? Is it hammocking?
Hammocking. I would say that. Right. That would be some kind of Scrabble word. I think that would be allowed. Right. Hammocking. The act of hammock.
Yeah. I don't actually have a bedroom in my house. This is just my hammock room.
No. All right.
Yeah, I used to like playing in those and swinging in them until someone got tossed out of it. Good times.
I once had a hammock collapse on me. It made me feel very fat. One of the ropes broke.
Oh, wow.
And I slammed down on the deck. But was otherwise all right.
That sounds like a lot of painful pain.
Yeah, but it's part of the price you pay for being overweight.
So, hammocking is a word.
Is it? It is the
officially. It is a technique used in broadcast programming where an unpopular television program is scheduled between two popular ones, in the hopes that viewers will watch it, waiting for the next one.
Oh, so
but
we
colloquially, and colloquially, it is hanging out, napping, relaxing, swinging together in your respective hammocks. So setting up hammocks with friends and hanging out, that's hammocking. It's a thing.
Interesting. Simply Secular Dave asks, if you have a room that has a device that you can sit in it, which is suspended from the ceiling, can you call it a hammock room? I'm asking for a friend.
What are those called? That actually is like a chair that hangs from the ceiling and it's on a spring.
Yeah.
Those are fun too.
I would find that calming, I think. I
wonder if people sleep
Oh, I like
better in
that.
hammocks than beds.
I don't believe you would, because we turn on average every 7 minutes, I believe it is. It may not be 7. I know everyone says 7 for everything, but it's every couple of minutes. We turn. And so in a hammock, I don't know, can you turn on your side in a hammock?
You know what we really need is someone from the 19th century Royal Navy to really tell us what their sleep was like on those frigates, right? Men of war
God.
ships. Oh, horrible, right?
I imagine not very good.
No, there is the USS Constitution, a ship of sail, a frigate is down the street from us, down in part of Boston called Charlestown, and I get a little claustrophobic. And I took the kids there a couple of years ago, and tiny levels. You go down there, it's like, how do people sleep here? Yeah, they might have been shorter back then, maybe, but yeah, it looked like a miserable place to be.
Sunny Days Decor. Oh, okay. That explains it. Says, hammocks are good for your back. However, a comfortable hammock bed is designed with no added pressure points and provides a natural sleeping position for the human body. Sleeping in a hammock will help relieve your back pain and remove the risk of serious injuries.
No. I feel like I would need a net.
Sounds a bit like an ad to me.
It does sound like an ad. Yeah. And I would feel like I would need a net underneath it or some kind of like safe surface.
Or maybe a bed, so if the hammock breaks, you can fall into the bed.
That's yes.
And, it's sort of belt and suspenders solution.
And Big Z, dude, it happens to small people of our stature. We used to have a hammock set up over here, but we no longer put it up because the last time we swing in it so much that we weakened the rope. I tied it around the tree instead of putting it on a hook, and it snapped on us. They can fail in so many ways. I've seen other people eat their, totally fall out of it.
Ouch. What about those metal hammocks where a frame is the device that supports the hammock?
I've got a metal frame on my hammock.
Oh, okay. How's that working out?
Wow.
It works well. Yeah, I do not have a bed set up in my house. I just have my hammock here.
So you are totally balls in with this hammock technology.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Because it sounded like, hammocks could be like the Zeppelins of sleeping arrangements. Like they could have like these catastrophic fail events. But
yeah. Well, you see this bolt here?
Yeah.
And how it's different from this connection over here?
Is that engineering? Is that what this is? Is that engineering?
Yeah. Technically, this is a cheap hammock that not all the parts were properly up to spec.
Well, I know that whenever I put something together from like IKEA, there's always extra pieces. And I'm like, it can't be that important.
Yeah, the hook that was over here wasn't properly manufactured or something.
Interesting.
So, for those playing at home, there hasn't really been much science done into the benefits for adults, but it's mainly been done on children. So it's mostly anecdotal. But there has been one study done, but it was only for 45 minutes. So that's the other difference. And they found that they had a deeper sleep as opposed to on a very comfortable or posturepedic mattress. And they think because of the swinging, they noticed the transition from wakefulness to sleep was quicker in a hammock. So it also lengthens the stage 2 sleep, they found.
Oh.
Where your body's in a light sleep preparing to enter deep sleep.
So now I'm probably looking. Now I just Googled up hammock peer-reviewed studies. That's what I just Googled.
Yeah, well, don't think you'll find many.
No,
But
I
put a
think so.
minus bananas so you don't get the swimsuit reviews.
Now here it is. Assessment of hammocks, resilience to sea level rise due to climate change in Mexico. See, you find all kinds of interesting things. I don't know what hammocks have to do with sea level rise.
Or how they're affected.
Yeah.
Oh, perhaps they have to raise the height of their hammocks.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I'll have to read that later on. I am now intrigued by hammocks and sea level rise. That's right, John Christian. When you're here, you learn about all kinds of things like hammocks, hammock technology, climate change, and hammocks, everything. And hammocking, and that fascinating word about hammocking, about having a show in the middle of two really exciting shows. Yeah. That's what I'm going to remember from today's conversation.
See, I always knew they did that, but I didn't realize there was a term for it.
I guess they're lifting up the shitty show with the right. With the,
It's similar to a compliment sandwich, where they put the insult in the middle. See,
anyone who's done managing knows the compliment sandwich. You get a compliment and crap in the middle.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing a dry run, test run of streaming with my planned co-host for my computing Twitch stream, YouTube, whatever, later on this morning, after the previous person that was planning on doing co-hosts kept on having scheduling issues. I've gone to a different person now.
So is this about, weren't you doing something about Minecraft and engineering in Minecraft?
Yep.
Is there,
Yep,
see, I pay attention to things.
Yeah. So the previous person I was planning on having be my co-host kept on having scheduling and busy all the time, so I'm
So
got my nephew
who could that be?
I don't know who could that be, but my nephew is sitting outside like an hour or two a week, and we're gonna try and do that. So we're doing a test run.
Dude, I can see how that would be
this
popular.
morning.
I can see how that would be popular. You know, people would be flocking to see about the engineering marvels of Minecraft. Yeah.
So if all goes well, we should be starting weekly stream in February.
Cool. Well, I'm intrigued just to tune in and see what engineering on Minecraft is all about.
Yeah, so the Minecraft stuff is like redstone computing and whatnot, but then I'm also planning on doing marble machine computer stuff. Initially simulating it within the Blender 3D modeling program, but then come summer, hopefully build a physical, actual marble machine based on what we design.
Wild Eden does some really cool artwork with that Blender program.
Yeah, Blender is a very, very versatile program.
While Grant or Cold Iron is talking about, I'm gonna have to see if I can do a thing here. You guys are talking smart words, and the girlfriend took at least maybe 10 minutes trying to explain to me a cat equation over the weekend. No, it was like a cat equation. I'm like, I don't understand this, what this does, what this means. And does it mean that? And she goes, no, it doesn't mean that, Andy. Because you have to work within the parentheses first. It's like, well, I think I am working in the parentheses first. She goes, no, you're not. You're not doing that at all. So after explaining it to me for like 10 minutes, I go, oh, well, why didn't you just say that? And I understood it finally. I finally understood the equation. I said, well, why didn't you say that to begin with? And she said, I said those exact same words. Those exact same words to you 10 minutes ago. It's like, really? It's like, I was thinking, it's like, hey, look at that. The Dilf shirt. Looking pretty good there, Sam. Like the swag. Like the swag.
I think it's the only merch I've ever bought from YouTube.
Well, yeah,
So far.
That's good. Well, I appreciate the. Well, it is a pretty good shirt. I was pretty happy with the design.
Yeah. Have you got yourself a Dilf shirt, Andy?
I haven't, but I think I'm going to try to convince maybe the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to tell you the truth, and I'm working on this bit, right? So I think I've gone from if I'm going to be qualified, if I'm going to be put into a category of an ILF of any kind, I think I'm now sliding into GDILF category. And that's a whole nother level of ickiness, right? Because there would be like, when I was younger, that would be one thing for, it would have to be truth in advertising. I think I would have to be in the GDILF, which is just grandfather, granddad kind of category.
Well, Andy, GILF is a thing. So.
Yeah. So I'd have to make one specifically for myself, I guess, for GDILF. And I don't know if my girlfriend would want me to wear one around. They'd be like, what are you trying to advertise with that, Andy?
Andy, you're only a couple of years older than me. You can still wear a Dilf shirt.
Oh, why? Thank you. That's good. That's good. I trimmed my beard so I don't look as old and scraggly and mentally ill. I just want everyone to know that. I did that over the weekend.
Yeah.
Because
I gave myself a haircut over the weekend as well.
You gave yourself a haircut. You just took the shaver and just.
Yeah.
Right?
I give myself a haircut like somewhere between 2 and 4 times a year.
Yep. I can see that. Imaginary God. It's. I'm not sure.
I let it grow long and then cut it all done. Let it grow longer, cut it down.
Well, I'm with you on that. I will get a haircut a few times a year. Right now, this is getting. I think I had a haircut maybe 2 months ago, and then I cut it really short, and then I let it grow out. I've been informed by the girlfriend that she prefers it short, so might just keep it short. I don't know.
What about a full-on buzz cut?
Yeah, I don't need that.
Save that for the old person's home.
That's right. When I don't care, when I've gone completely demented and I won't care how I look. So yeah.
So what was Imaginary God? They've got to give us more than that.
Then this right here. I think it's quite a bold statement, if I do say so myself.
What am I missing?
So I think he's just looking for data. That's what. He's just looking for data to see what kind of results you get from your shirt.
Okay. So is it big? Is it a bit presumptuous for me to bestow that upon myself. Is
Well,
that
you
the
just think,
issue? It's not others bestowing that upon me. It's me saying I am.
well, you can always lie and just say someone gave it to you, right? One of your many admirers.
See, I'm very body positive, and I think everyone should be wearing a fucking DILF shirt. And that's going to be my response if anyone says anything.
I like that.
Is I'm going to say, where's your DILF shirt?
Right. Gonna put it on them. Gonna put it on them.
Yes. You know? God.
I'm very positive, body positive for other people, not for myself, but for other people. I'm all for it.
At least now I understand my partner's reaction when she saw it. She said, are you going to wear that in public? Well, I was going to until you said that.
You learn a lot of things about people when, or about yourself too, and about how people think when you wear a DILF shirt, or when you're dating someone who might be a lot younger than you are. You learn a lot of things about what people think. It's like, really, that's yeah. Like when I was dating someone right after the divorce, of course, dating someone significantly younger than me. Men and women broke. It was a very clear divide about reactions, and you learned a lot. I learned a lot.
It's very ingrained in us, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Our misogynies and prejudices.
Oh yeah. A lot of it is we're
And misandry.
Oh, misandry. Yeah.
Let's not leave out the misandry.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons why I dislike the movie, the reason why I dislike, and this is how I'm going to start ranting about Mrs. Doubtfire and the Full Monty, which I dislike for the same reason about the misandry stuff, and I usually don't veer into that. I usually veer, if I'm going to start complaining or start kvetching or start riffing on things, it's more like I'll talk about Grease, which I hate. And I hate that movie too. I hate Grease. I hate Grease. I hate like there's some weird movies I just don't like because of the messaging about what the messaging is in the movie. It's like I don't know if that's okay. So yeah. And then what's really funny, right, is that when I try to explain why I dislike the Full Monty or Mrs. Doubtfire to like women, it's like trying to explain box equation, like two cat box equations. It's like my girlfriend trying to explain that to me. It's like, I don't understand this at all. What are you trying to tell me? Yeah, man, our brains just suck. Even with smart people, our brains are just really bad at braining, at just thinking.
Whenever I hear a musical, like, it's weird. Like, I can't get into them. I love music, but if it's like in a musical format, for some reason I just tune out. But if you add theatrics to music, for some reason I still am tuned in. I don't know, my brain, like, as soon as it becomes like a story and a musical, like the whole idea of a musical, like Hairspray, yeah, it starts to lose me. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's the same reason probably why you like chocolate ice cream, or you don't like chocolate ice cream.
Well,
it's just in there.
See, if you don't enjoy that genre of music or the songs or whatever, there's not much else there for you in a musical. You're there essentially because it's a musical. If you don't enjoy the music side of it, which is why I think I don't that sort of gauche, whimsical music. It's not my cup of tea.
I'll say this: is that when a musical is done well, at least in my opinion, for what I buy, it's pretty. I'm like, it lights up my Christmas tree. It's like, wow, this is incredible. And I don't want to get into too geek or nerd territory, but the Buffy musical, that episode, Once More with Feeling, pretty freaking incredible. Joss Whedon, a monster maybe, sure, but the art, my friend, and
Buffy
the vampire.
Oh, Buffy
The vampire.
Oh yeah, that was. See, that's a whole different thing again. But that TV musical, done well. That Buffy one was brilliant. Done well, they can be good. Yeah.
But the thing is, there's a lot of trash. So there's just a lot of trash out there. And then there are musicals that are obviously have a horrible message. And I'm going to talk. So I've already complained about Grease. Let me complain about Wicked, right? Because I saw Wicked with my kid. Yeah, it's like the prequel to Wizard of Oz.
Yep. Oh, and I think just to catch up, Tobin, or maybe I'm the one that needs to catch up. Well, because I was talking about theatrical musicals on stage. Is that what you were talking about as well?
Well, it could be a movie too, or like going to the theater.
Because I didn't think of like TV sort of musicals until Andy mentioned it, and that's when I thought, in that instance, I don't mind them. But the theatrical ones, like I saw Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat, and because I didn't enjoy the songs. They're not performing as such. They're just standing there singing with backdrops. So if you're not into the music, it's like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But with the TV thing's a whole different sort of genre of musical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The last musical that I saw was Reefer Madness, the musical.
I'd like to see that.
What?
I haven't seen that. That sounds hilarious, dude.
I haven't seen.
That'd be good.
Is that a live performance thing or?
They did do it as a live performance thing, but they also made a movie out of it too. It's basically taking the plot of Reefer Madness and reimagining it as a musical that kind of lampoons it.
Yeah.
And then there's Little Shop of Horrors. That's good.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Oh, that is a good one.
Is it from around? Is that from around the time of Reefer Madness?
No.
The original one, the black and white one, wasn't a musical.
Yeah.
And then they made it into a musical.
Yeah, the musical is much more recent.
Yeah. Had Steve Martin in it and Rick Moranis.
Really?
Does Pink Floyd The Wall count as a musical?
Really?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Martin and Rick Moranis.
I will put it. I will find the link to IMDb and put it into chat.
Going to have to check this out. I thoroughly enjoy both of those gentlemen.
Green Day was actually the first band that I ever got to see live in concert.
Oh wow!
I don't know. I just felt like saying that.
Yeah, I saw my first one was Aerosmith with Ted Nugent opening.
Hell yeah!
Who have you seen, Grant? Who was your first?
And see in concert? I don't think I've gone to any really proper concerts per se.
Oh, whoa!
Just
Wow.
random cover band playing at a event that I was at
live
otherwise.
The link is there for you in private chat.
Oh, yeah, we'll do.
420.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. My first was the Cranberries.
The Cranberries.
In your
Oh,
head.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
your
yeah.
head. Yeah.
but it
hell
was
yeah.
it was the album after that, unfortunately. But she did do a lot of songs off that album.
Yeah, she
I think
passed
that was
away.
even the first CD I bought myself as well,
Wow.
and I was quite into the Cranberries. Yeah, very sad when she passed.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was
Suicide?
recent.
Was it suicide?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It,
It was
it
pre-pandemic. wasn't it?
was, yeah. It was when last time I looked, it was unknown.
Hmm.
Well, so it was suspected.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so that's right. How a lot of famous artists go drowning whilst drinking,
Oh, yeah.
suffering depression. Did she swim out on purpose? So yeah, it's one of those like Jeff Buckley.
So a question for John Christian. The Monkees in '68. Was that the tour that Jimi Hendrix opened for them for a couple of dates? Is that because I remember hearing the story that Jimi Hendrix opened up for the Monkees on a couple of different times, a couple of different dates.
Wow.
What a treat.
Who was yours, Big Zipper?
Geez, it might have been you too, of all people.
wow.
At a small place in Toronto that was a sold Masonic temple that was converted into a theater, and they put on a great show, and I thought it was very humble of them. They came out and they had some music that was sort of done by synthesizer, but they couldn't have the guy there, so they had it recorded. And they explained that they wanted to complete the experience, but they were using some recorded music, and they didn't want to do it surreptitiously, which I thought was pretty cool. They weren't lip syncing wankers. They wanted to be the real deal.
Sure. So John Christian did see Jimi Hendrix open up for the Monkees in Montreal. Oh,
Jesus.
yeah.
Freaked my mother out.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Talking about musical television, the Monkees TV show is kind of that. They do a musical section in each of their episodes.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Matthew says, Green Day is a guilty pleasure for me. I grew up in the punk scene and Green Day was too soft. Yeah. A new way for me to enjoy openly. Yeah, I could see that. Matthew.
Dookie was one of those albums. That
was a great piece.
From my childhood. That album. Especially, and the secret song. When albums had a secret song. Do you remember that?
No.
I don't remember.
You're like, the album would finish, but if you left the last song playing, sometimes, they'd use the rest of the space on the CD. And Dookie was a short album. So it was about 25 minutes of silence, and then this little secret track would play. And it was called All By Myself. Anyone who doesn't know it. I was all by myself. Yeah. Go and look it up. Green Day, All By Myself. It's awesome.
So Spyro Gyra. was a band. I hung out with a lot of music geeks when I was in high school. They knew about Spyro Gyra. Me, not so much, but I heard the name bantered around.
It sounds very electronic.
It is an American jazz
Sounding.
fusion band formed in Buffalo, New
Jazz
York.
fusion.
Yep. The band's name comes from Spyro Gyra, a genus, I think I'm pronouncing that right, of green algae, which
Right.
founder Jay Beckenstein had learned about in college. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I always hang around, as you can probably tell by the people here, I always hang around with people smarter than me. That's or more worldly than me.
Yeah, I started to have a greater appreciation for jazz once I started going to classes for it. I did not get to finish, but I was going to school for music. But they like Autumn Leaves. Every musician that I've so far met, Autumn Leaves was like one of those like staple pieces that you had to learn. Like
Is that
jazz is
gateway
very,
drug?
huh?
Is that the gateway drug for jazz?
Yeah, I think so. It's what they get you started on and get you hooked on.
Right.
Yeah,
And then they give you the heroin.
What's it called?
later on.
yeah.
Playing on the thing that 420 Atheists mentioned of weird things people put onto albums. One of my favorite things is what the They Might Be Giants did with the album, with the song, pseudo song, Fingertips, on their album, where it was sort of one song, sort of like a dozen songs, or it's just 20-second sections that they mastered the CD so that they would all be separate tracks. So that if a person put their CD on shuffle, they would just get random little sections of the Fingertips song just interspersed amongst all the rest of the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fingertips is a very, very strange song. And they very rarely play it live at their concerts.
Hmm.
But they have played it live at their concerts, despite it being such a strange song.
I don't know if anyone else or anyone in the chat or anyone watching has had this happen. But if you've been in like a horrible relationship and that other person has really liked a band, that can really ruin the band for you. It has.
Mm.
That has been like, yeah, I've had to work around that a couple of times. There was someone
Has that
was-
happened with what
It
band?
It happened with Bruce Springsteen. Well, no, it happened especially for Cat Stevens. I still cannot listen to Cat Stevens without thinking. It's like, what an irritating. Yeah, Cat Stevens has been. It's like the Romans when they conquered Carthage. They
It's a wild world, Andy.
What's that?
It's a wild world, Andy.
It is a wild world.
Well done, sir.
Oh, yeah. Like Cat Stevens just kind of.
I never listened to one of his albums, but I liked his work on Helen and Maude. It was sort of the soundtrack for Helen and Maude.
Yeah.
Which I really loved that movie. The movie that other people hate.
Well, Helen and Maude. Is it Helen and Maude?
Not Helen and Maude. I've got the name wrong.
Yeah,
oh my
I know.
God.
It's the sex movie, right? With the old guy, with the young person, the old person.
Yes. I've got the actor was named Bud Cort, who played. That was his real name. I'll look it up and find the damn movie.
Yeah. So yes, the girlfriend and I we bought tickets for They Might Be Giants 2 years ago, and then they postponed the show obviously for pandemic reasons, and now I think we have tickets for March, but of course Boston, it's in Boston, and Boston has a vaccine mandate now. so that you can't enter. In theory, a restaurant, pub, or performing center without showing your vaccine. I mean, I'm on the other side of the river, so I haven't actually been in Boston. I mean, Boston's like right down the street, but I haven't been in Boston. So since the, rule about the vaccine mandate.
Just this last week, St. Paul have a proof of vaccine requirement for restaurants now. So
Yeah, which I support. I totally support that.
We, but does that now for the booster though? Because with Omicron, see, I had AstraZeneca, and it's now being said that AstraZeneca doesn't last, so it doesn't last in general with the other strains. So after 6 months or so, they say you're essentially unvaccinated. But even if you're freshly vaccinated on AstraZeneca, it's not effective against Omicron strain, which is what's out there at the minute. So these, being vaccinated, the discussion is now, because it's so vax or anti-vax, it's like we should be talking about the vaccines are starting to wear off. We should be getting the boosters now and mandating the boosters, which is starting to happen here in Australia.
Yeah.
And people are trying to kick up about it.
Well,
but that's where the discussion should be going.
A story that I'm probably going to be covering tomorrow in tomorrow's show is that the Israelis, they just started doing the 4th shot, the second booster for people over 60. And the results are very positive about how many antibodies are for these, people over 60 that get their second booster shot. So that's going to be something we'll probably see more and more of in the coming months here.
And I heard there was an article on a radio news program. They were discussing the way different governments around the world have prompted people to get not only the vaccine but now the boosters.
Yeah.
And listing the countries that had mandates and the numbers compared to non-mandated countries. It's just like, we've said all along on this show, mandates work. The evidence is out. The evidence is out now, so it's not even a discussion anymore.
I mean, the thing is that we have the answers to most of the questions, the big pressing questions, that are facing societies. We have the answers. It's just the lack of political will to execute on them.
Get us
I
to do
saw
it.
a strange thing from a American school board meeting where a woman said, "My kids will not come to school in a mask, and I will bring every gun I have loaded and ready." And
I saw that too.
yeah, do you remember anything else about it, Tobin? Because I was just so shocked. My brain didn't really absorb much else.
Yeah, you said basically what I know.
The thing is that if I were the school board, I would call the police after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any follow up to the story.
Yeah. There's a lot of those stories that aren't followed up. Crazy person says crazy words at a school board meeting. Threatens hundreds of people, and then you don't hear anything about it.
There was a hilarious TYT video where they talked about this weird phenomenon where some guy shows up at school board meetings and he decries the fact that the school board is pro anal sex. And the school board are going, "What? What are you talking about?" And he rants and raves. And it was just absolutely hilarious.
So there's so many strange. All right, we have like 5 minutes left of the show, so I haven't heard that. And I was just looking up the anti-vaxxer trucker convoy going across Canada, and I was about to say America because we think we own Canada. To tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie to you, right? I'm sorry, Dave. But yeah, I'm just looking at anti-vaccine mandate truck convoy passing through Alberta on the way to Ottawa. Of course, there's a GoFundMe campaign for it, and it's raised $3 million.
Oh God.
And there's a lot of trucks in this trucker convoy. How crazy is that?
Yeah, well, they've got a great big convoy. Ain't she a beautiful sight? They've got a great big convoy. Never mind.
I want to have one last little rant,
Go ahead, man.
and I don't even know if this will make any sense, but so we are about to have our kids go back to school, and the government, at least in New South Wales, has said we're giving 2 free tests to every teacher and 2 free tests to every child, and they have to have a negative test before they can come back. And then they have to wear masks. And we have this massive rush of parents, like, the state's level. We're talking 40-50% of the population saying that this is testing unsick kids and forcing them to wear a mask for 8 hours, 6 hours, or whatever a school day is paramount to child abuse, and that they won't put their child through that.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, when you talk about people complaining about snowflakes,
Testing.
right? What I just want to say this. These are the same people that are probably complaining about snowflakes and how they can't toughen up, and then they're saying to us that their kids can't handle a freaking face mask for like 6 hours. It's like, come on.
Well, Andy, you are a man after my own heart. My response. Now, this is someone who, one of the persons who, and this is why I'm so fired up about it. She works for me, so she should know better. But I posted a bunch of snowflakes, and because her post, she just reshared someone saying that 99.99998, the 8 is so it sounds real, percent of children cases of COVID don't even get symptoms and have no effects. And so my response was bunch of snowflakes. And by the way, where did he get his stats from? His ass.
Yeah.
And she questioned back, but why make kids that don't have symptoms have tests?
Well,
and I said, because people can be asymptomatic. And every person on that side of the fence has responded. No one has said a word since, but they have all done the laugh emoji to my response. And I don't get it. Is there something about asymptomatic that they don't like? Why is that funny?
The thing is, what I always like to point out is that how many dead kids does it take? So this becomes like, who was it? Who argued with God about Sodom and Gomorrah? It's not Lot. It's not Abraham. Is it Abraham? Is it Abraham? Okay.
Oh,
so it's like
Abram technically. But
Abram.
whatever.
All right. Abram arguing with God or negotiating with God about how many good people living in Sodom and Gomorrah. Does it, if 40 people, if 10 people, well, what? So let's talk about dead kids and dead grands, right? So if we save one kid from dying from COVID in the whole country, Is it worth you having your freaking snowflake kid wearing a freaking mask? Is it worth one dead grand? You know, if that's it. This is the trolley experiment. This is the trolley experiment. And the thing is, if one life, one innocent life is saved from your kid having to wear a freaking mask, or if everyone's kid having to wear a freaking mask, is that worth it? And I would still say yes.
And
I'd say
before
yes.
they answer, before the snowflake answers, they have to make that one kid their kid.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And if they say that they're
Then
willing
is
to
it
do it,
worth
then they're
it?
lying. They're just lying. They're just a lying liar who lies. And so yeah. All right. Well, on that freaking happy note, everyone, you've listened to another episode of Whatever We Do Here, and we're doing Whatever We Do Here again tomorrow. So take care. Thanks everyone. Thanks Tobin, Big Zebra, or Zebra,
Hamala.
Jamala Hamala, Cold Iron, and 420. Take care.
Hamala.